Morning, everybody. I thought we'd do something a little bit different, just a little recap from all of the readings so far and step work and the importance of some of the activities within the respective fellowships uh, and what our expectations should be. So, what we've read so far is Bill's story about basically being completely or coming close to the end of his rope. I mean, he feels like he's losing his mind. We call it the insidious insanity of addiction. We all kind of, I think, go through that in the beginning. That's one of the reasons why we come into the rooms. The other piece to this is when we listen to Dr. Silkworth, one of the points that he had made is if the doctors had a pill to give you not to be addicted anymore, they would give it to you. But they don't have that pill. That doesn't exist. Instead, what they would do is they would give you drugs that are better than the ones that are on the street. So it's still an addiction to some degree. It's just a tolerable addiction, I guess. Would be the statement there. Do we believe in harm reduction? Of course we do. Best place for you when you're drunk or high is in a meeting. Best place for you when you're sober is in a meeting. Best place when you're white knuckling for you is a meeting. Why do we go to meetings? We go to meetings to talk about the big book and the way that we utilize these steps and the principles of the big book in our daily affairs. Meaning, we have an issue, some screw up thing happened today, and we go into the nooner and we just bitch and complain about what's happened to us. Yeah, you could do that. Some of those old timers though in the room are more of a mindset that they would rather take responsibility than be a victim. We don't really endorse a victim mentality in the rooms. There are times in our lives when we are victims, but we have to see or adhere to what the definition of a victim is. It was entirely placed upon you. There was nothing you could have did. You got hit in a car accident and didn't even see it coming. There was nothing you could have did for a recourse. Yeah, that's a victim. But then the question is, what are you going to do after the accident? That's your responsibility. You could sit there and flounder and say this is all their fault, my life is going to hell, blah, 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 blah. No, actually, the only responsibility that they have is the fact that you got hit. And maybe some injuries, but the question is, what are you going to do after? Same thing with addiction. What are you going to do after? I mean, tons of crap happens to us in addiction, and a lot of it, we're definitely a participant in. Most of us have trauma from a young age, and that is very unfortunate. I think it's like a percentage of 95% of us are sexually abused as children, and this is a real epidemic, this is a real issue. The other 5% have had some sort of trauma where they lost their parents young. And these are very generalized, broad-stroked traumas that one could experience. But losing a family member young, losing a parent young, these types of things are very traumatic for about that 5% of us. The other thing to remember is that when AA or Alcoholics Anonymous first started, we were batting like a 50% average. Why has that changed today? I would suggest one of the reasons why it changed was because we're not doing the steps that they once were done. We're just coming into the rooms and resting upon that the rooms are going to get us sober, and they do not. The rooms, like I said, the meetings are a place where we come in, we bring our problems, and we show others how to utilize those principles and the step work that we do in order to get past the issues of our day-to-day lives. That's one of the reasons why this thing is called Life on Life's Terms, because your terms don't matter. Life is always going to throw a curveball at you, and it's about how you're going to implore a new set of morality. We talked about a moral psychic change in the beginning. So how are you going to implore these new morals? And the second thing is where do these new morals come from? I'm going to suggest to you that is, if you stick along with me, you're going to learn through this step work that you're going to find new morals, and some of them are going to be a rigorous honesty that you never thought possible ever in your life. And for the addict, that is 100% the truth. The other moral that you're going to potentially pick up on is a selfless service to others, which is huge. You have to have this in your repertoire of morality. I really hope that the God thing was put into light in the last video. If not, if you're just seeing this for the first time, please go back to the other video. Super important if you do that work. We're not talking about God in a religious sense. We're talking about God as in whatever your definition is. And like I said in the other videos, I went into depth about that. I think getting yourself to a meeting today, if that's the only thing you do and you're in early recovery, is the best thing. You also hear us say, easy does it. When we get through this, we're going to realize real quick that Bill W. did his first set of steps within days, wasn't weeks. It can be done in days. I usually do this big book study inside of 3 days, and the set of steps is done within those 3 days also. And I promise you, if you ever come to a big book study that I'm putting on, you will not be the same by the end of it. Your using won't be the same. I'm gonna screw that up on you for sure. Your life is not going to be the same, provided that you participate from the beginning to the end. And you may even feel some serious relief from any of your maladies or issues that you may have. And this is not me doing this because I'm a miracle worker. This is me doing this because I need to be selfless in my service. And secondly, the Big Book is a wonderful program, and a program that can really, truly relieve an addiction issue. I believe that wholeheartedly. I've seen it done hundreds and hundreds of times. I've done this Big Book study well over 60 times now. With many people. I've done these Big Book studies with 10, 20 people in a room, 30 people in a room, and over 60 times. So I couldn't even tell you how many times. And that's not me saying, look at what I've done. That's me saying how many times I've seen this thing be effective. I know way more people in the rooms with serious overtime, and the people who are relapsing are really the minority within our program. They're not the majority. So I really hope that this inspires you. I used to hate hearing in the beginning, life is good, but it gets good. And as I once told you before, a good sponsor of mine said, is life really good right now? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, it's going to get shittier. And then when it got shitty, he said to me, he goes, is life really shitty right now? And I said, yeah. And he'd say, good, because it's going to get better. The only constant is that we go to meetings, we keep our nose buried into that Big Book, we keep on working the steps, and we keep on working with other people. For whatever reason, this seems to work. This seems to be the new math that keeps this guy out of jail. I haven't been to jail in a long time, and God willing, I don't go back. Been sober for a while, and God willing, I stay that way. None of this is me. This is all a higher power. I really hope that you share, like, and leave a comment down below. I will answer them. I've already started answering some of them. I make sure that most of the comments are on. Sometimes I forget, name isn't Christ. I'm not perfect. But yeah, leave comments below. I'll give you advice however I can, in whatever shape or form I can. These are also posted on our Facebook page, Life on Livestreams podcast on Facebook. You can also leave me comments there, or even direct message me at that platform as well. I really hope that if you're struggling, I know it's scary to go to a meeting. It's super nutty, but just get your butt in there. You don't even have to talk. You don't have to say anything. I mean, it told us in the beginning of the book that We're not supposed to say, hi, my name is so and so, and I am. No, all you have to say is, I'm thinking about joining Cocaine Anonymous, or I'm thinking about joining Narcotics Anonymous, or I'm thinking about joining Alcoholics Anonymous. You don't have to say your name. Not at all. Nobody's asking you to. You can be 100% anonymous, no matter who you are. You can be the person sitting on the corner drinking out of a paper bottle, or you can be a drunk judge that's chugging down a decanter of scotch, and smoking crack. I don't know. You could be any one of those people or anything in between, and you're welcome in the rooms. Doesn't matter about your gender, sex affiliation. We don't give a shit. All we care about is that you have an issue like us, and that's why in these rooms we focus upon the problem and the solution. The problem is my mind super sucks when it's sick, and the solution is these steps and the service work and sharing in those meetings on how we get past this malady in our life. So stay solution orientated. God willing, you come into the rooms, and I really hope that if you're struggling, you get your butt to a meeting today. With that, I'll continue reading tomorrow, and I hope you have a beautiful day today.